Hey, everybody, it's the Dynamite Show. Paul Fontaine, Jeff Hawkins here on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel shortly after AEW Dynamite ended. And as well, for all of you listening on the free audio feed on Thursday morning, I want to thank you all for joining us as well. And Jeff, we're going to talk a little bit about All Out. And of course, we're going to recap Dynamite. But before we do that, we wanted to touch on a little bit of a Twitter war that went on over the last day and a half or so between Gail Kim, whose name I haven't heard in a little while, and Kenny Omega, who I believe still works for this company, but I'm not sure because we never see him. I know he does. Jeff, you are a little more up to speed on this because I don't even know what Gail Kim actually said that prompted Kenny Omega's response, but he was up in his feels about whatever she said.
Oh, yes. And kids, I'm TV's Jeff Hawkins. As a public service announcement, if you have a thought or a feeling on something, you don't need to express your opinion all the time on it unless you know what's going on. That's been very true this past week and a half for me. But anyways, so Gail Kim said some things about deathmatch wrestling because apparently a producer at A24 is doing a documentary on it, and she just had some things. She goes, basically, it's not my style.
Okay.
And so that eventually morphed into other negative things that people perceive on the internet that Gail Kim has said. And that got into her opinions on Riho.
Okay.
And I will quote what she has said about Riho.
Okay.
I will say, and I haven't watched AEW in a very long time, but when I did watch Riho, and nothing against her at all, because I am the biggest supporter of all women who want to make it in this business. But I did feel uncomfortable watching her because the camera shots would go up her skirt, and she was always dressed like a very little girl, and it felt improper.
Okay.
She had other opinions. I am also into very believable wrestling. Not everyone is, especially nowadays. And it was very hard for me to believe that a little girl that was being portrayed of that size was fighting the women they had in that division. To put it in context, I find Io, Mia, Asuka, Kairi, and Lei Ying to be more believable, and I don't feel uncomfortable watching. In response to a fan who wrote that Riho is the same size as WWE's AJ Lee, Kim responded, okay, I'm not taking anything away from her talent. I'm talking about what I saw years ago and what made me feel uncomfortable. She looked like a very young girl in a frilly skirt, and the cameraman was up her ass. It just felt inappropriate to me. Kim concluded her comments by Riho by writing, I'm not going to comment on the Riho thing again. I have stated my opinion. It was a 4-part tweet, so you can look at that again if you don't understand what I was saying. It was more about her size. It was a combination of things. I was asked about it, and I answered. Enter Kenny Leroy Jenkins Omega.
His legal name.
Yes, Leroy Jenkins is his middle name. Who then said, who basically, I don't have the first tweet. I have the other one.
Oh.
But the first one was something to the effect of, does Gail Kim not know that fans have wanted Riho murdered?
What?
Yes.
That's even more confusing than the one I saw.
Okay, here's the other one. Another day and another legend doing the splits on it for the yearly TKO gift basket.
Yes.
Kim responded to Kenny Omega's post writing, if you're trying to beat around the bush and misinterpret things like the rest of the Yahoos, let me clarify that you are wrong. Now, I can easily explain this because there were some people in their fields on the Wrestling Observer board, and let me tell you something. You want to hear...
Uh-oh. Jeff got booyaka'd there for a second. He got stalled. I don't know if he can hear me. We'll just see what happens with Jeff. Plethora, I see your comment. We will get to it in a second. I'm just letting Jeff know. Stalled mid-sentence. All I'm going to add, because I Jeff was on a roll here, but when I saw Kenny's tweet, that's all I saw. I didn't even know anything. Like, there's no context. So I had no idea who this legend was doing splits for the yearly TKO gift basket. I was completely confused. And then someone informed me that it was about Gail Kim. And I was like, well, I didn't know anything about Gail Kim. And then they told me, and it was like, I got all that. I heard all about what she had to say about Rio, and it got me thinking about people that I know that have expressed the same concerns about Rio. Not the first part so much, although, I did hear that back in the day. So it kind of probably a little bit telling about how long it's been since Rio, or since Gail Kim has actually watched Rio. But the rest of it, like about, like not believable and all that, I mean, I don't know if it was Jeff or Garrett. One of them said the same thing in discussions I had with them, that it was hard to take her seriously just because she's so tiny. And to be fair, the same comments were made about AJ Lee. So, Gail Kim, I mean, it was maybe a little unfair to bring up AJ Lee back to Gail Kim just because, AJ Lee has only wrestled once in the last 10 years, and Gail may not have even seen that match. So, and if she's going to comment on AJ Lee 10 years ago, well, women's wrestling has changed quite a bit in the last 10 years. So, okay, Jeff's back. Here we go. Jeff's back.
Rudely interrupted.
I gave my thoughts on this. So, and we'll get to Plethora's thing as soon as we're done with Gail Kim here. But you were saying,
where was I?
So you brought up, maybe somebody in the chat will remember. But you were right in the middle. You were talking about Gail's response, I think.
Oh, and Gail's crap. I closed it, but basically he said that Kenny was out over his skis. He didn't know what he was talking about.
Right. And that's where you left off, actually.
And I compared that to the Wrestling Observer Board, where there were other people in their fields who were angry at Gail Kim for saying these things because her words have weight. And she has a responsibility to others in the business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now I am going to give this person, who I don't like necessarily, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt in that he is taking that position, much like many things in the arts, that one should not tear down a fellow artist that is in the arts, etc. But you also have to remember, Gail Kim is a coach. And this to me felt like a coach talking a little bit. Now, the gear stuff I have said on this very program before.
Okay,
over and over.
I just brought that up. I wasn't sure if it was you or Garrett. So it was you.
No, it was me. I was the one who said that she needed new gear to match the sports style presentation, and it was hard to combine these Joshi wrestlers. Like, Yuka's a character. She's easy, but Rio as a main event player wearing the frilly dress and whatnot is hard to put in there with people like Britt and others, because they are being treated like athletes and she's being treated like a character. And I said the same thing with wrestlers like Vanessa Bourne in the Age of the Horsewomen, when she was basically wearing lingerie as gear, going back to that old diva sex pot type characters. Now, the other thing she said to me is mundane. It is, she's small. I'd like her to have more believable offense if we're considering this a fake fight. Much like other old school people who were trained before professional wrestling became an after school program where everybody gets a participation trophy. If you are trained by people of a certain mindset, you too are going to have that mindset as well. I saw nothing wrong with it. Kenny is an idiot, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because Kenny's talking about women's wrestling and Gail Kim and other things. Gail Kim walked out on WWF, if you recall. Okay,
Right.
so for him to say she's looking for a TKO gift basket, when she put her career on the line and walked out during a battle royal, when she thought that entire division was being mistreated, that to me is a bad look for one Kenneth Omega, not his real name.
And she was one half of what got women, like her and Awesome Kong are what basically kicked off what eventually became the WWE Women's Evolution. And
I would think so, yeah.
People will point to Ronda, but it was really those two that started in TNA in about 2005, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And it took like 10 years for that to get to that point in WWE. And it's taken another 6 years for AEW almost to get to that point. And they're getting there now.
Yeah, no, and you had others in there too. Cheerleader Melissa was in there playing like 6 different characters. You had Hamada in there, who was, I love that Hamada Awesome Kong tag
ODB
team.
even, like
ODB. She was the hardcore wrestler of the crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they were in there kind of, I can't remember the timeline. It was probably before like the Beautiful People and stuff like that.
Yeah. Way before. Because they were like, they main evented shows. I think they may have even main evented a pay-per-view. And they were having the best women's matches in North America,
yes,
by far, like not even close. And so she was part of that. And then she was a coach when the next generation came up after her. And
the KO cheap shot was really just undeserved for someone.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, for people that may not follow Gail Kim and had no idea what he was talking about, it was like very confusing as well. Greg brought up that Omega's overprotectiveness of Rio is weird in a little bit. I mean, he was probably the main proponent of bringing her in. And there's somebody that listens to this show, and I won't call him out by name, but he is a big proponent of women's wrestling, and especially Japanese women's wrestling. And he shares some of the concerns about Riho that were brought up by Gail, and that if you have brought up, and I think you know who I'm talking about because he's brought it up on Twitter.
Yeah, and here's go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, and this is somebody that's coming. He hates the Fed or WWE or whatever you want to call it. He doesn't watch them. And he does not like the presentation of Riho. And he has a hard time taking her seriously.
Yes, and I will say this for Kenny, because I will give him a little bit of it was a knee-jerk reaction, and I think if he's looking at it like other people were looking at, he was looking at this like Gail Kim was like a Cornette cult member.
Right.
And those people are terrible. Okay. And I will admit that. And they say some stupid crap. And Jim Cornette said, Jim Cornette's problem is he has good points, but he says it in the worst possible way, in the stupidest way possible at times.
Yeah. And
Gail Kim's words had no malice in them whatsoever. And so everybody was saying, and it became really a stand-up for AEW type thing, where it's like, oh, she's being critical of AEW. Go get her, Kenny. It's like, you idiots. Okay, she's not. She's basically giving a fairly neutral take and her own personal opinion without cutting anybody down. And it's like one of these things where it's like she's saying stuff that you and I have said on this program many a time, and other people have said many a time, and other people who watch this wrestling many a time, and we get the pushback from you don't know the history of Joshi. It's like, okay, fine. I don't know the history of Joshi. I don't, but I know what I see on AEW television.
Right. And I'm not watching Joshi. I'm watching North American pro wrestling. And this is a criticism I saw, and it's from somebody that I really respect, and I won't call him out by name, but he'll probably know who he is when he hears this.
Paul is not calling out people by name today.
Because I don't want to misquote them, and I don't want people to go after them. But he said, like, okay, Kenny is he's a Canadian with Japanese citizenship, and he understands the culture over there a lot better than Gail Kim does, because she's from Canadian with Korean descent or any of us do. And that's fine and dandy and obviously true. But the problem is we're not talking about Japanese pro wrestling. We're talking about North American pro wrestling. And a
Correct.
Japanese woman, the way she's presented and the way that we're supposed to take her seriously. The one thing that I would take a little bit of criticism about what Gail Kim said, because most of it I understand. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I respect the take. The part where she talked about the way they shoot Gail Kim and that is a little outdated, or Riho, sorry, because that was when it first started. They don't do that anymore. So for her, I think that kind of tells you, okay, and I think she even said, I haven't seen her in a long time.
She preceded it by saying, I haven't watched it in years.
Yeah. So I think when it first started, that's what they were doing, but they don't do that now. And at the same time, you had WWE doing something very similar, but way worse, in my opinion, with Alexa Bliss. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going to criticize them for that, you should probably maybe bring up Alexa Bliss as well, and just so you can show that you're not taking sides. But again, I don't think Gail Kim was looking to get into a war. Like you said, I think she was just giving her opinions. So
yeah, my only pushback with you is, when has WWE not sexualized their wrestling? And
this is true. Transferring Heat has a great point. It's the same point that the person that I was mentioning on Twitter has said. Kenny probably shouldn't say anything about women's wrestling. His vision of wrestling's women held AEW back for years. I've heard that from more than one person.
No, I think that's a legitimate criticism, but that's separate from this. It's one of those things where it's like, look, he was put in a position to be in charge of the women's division for a while. He had a vision for it. He tried something and it didn't work. I'm not gonna bury him.
I wouldn't even say it didn't work, because I think it did work on some level. But the problem was we got COVID, and then Riho wasn't available for a long time, and then they went in different directions. But Riho, you'll recall, when she was AEW Women's Champion, she was a draw. She was over, and she was a draw, and those matches were good. I'm not going to pretend they weren't. Like, her feud with Nyla Rose was great. Like, they had some great matches, and and they made that work. And all credit, honestly, to Nyla, in that one as well, because this was the same template that Gail Kim and Awesome Kong used. Like, the only difference being that Gail Kim, I'm sure, would say, and I would agree, that she probably looked more like an athlete than Riho did.
And she probably worked a more realistic style than
but
Riho does good. I mean, Riho does good things. She does the Matrix, fold up, which I believe Becky Lynch has since stolen it, and things like that. So
they ask transferring. He asked, "Where's Nyla?" Catering.
There are issues with booking Nyla in certain states.
Yes, that is also true. Yeah, certain states she's not allowed to wrestle because of how she was born. All right. I want to get to the super chat before we get into All Out, and this can lead into a little bit of our All Out. All right. Yeah. So Plethora, thank you very much for the donation. We still owe a show, and we're going to do it. I think I know what show we're going to do, so I'll let Jeff know, and then we'll figure out when we're going to watch it. But do Jeff and Paul agree that the people who said Jack Perry was a big star because he got booed in Chicago one time should be held accountable / arrested? Maybe a little extreme, but I will.
No, I'm here for arresting everybody. Wrestling fans, put them in the pokey. Let's just.
I will pat myself on the back and say, when that happened, like, cool your jets. This was not Jack Perry heat. This was CM Punk heat.
Yes.
Like, he got into it with CM Punk, and he was getting. I mean, if they could have figured out a way to do a Perry Punk match, I mean, that might have gotten Perry to another level at that point.
Yes.
But they couldn't, obviously. And because Tony fired Punk and benched Perry. And then we did this stupid scapegoat gimmick for, and then in two companies, by the way.
For this. I had hopes for this Jack Perry heel turn that would do something for him. And they just couldn't figure out how to make him not a mustache twirling cartoon character that nobody believed. They made him a homicidal maniac is what they did. And it's kind of my same criticism of Darby right now. It's like he's bringing flamethrowers to the ring.
Didn't he try to set Tony Khan on fire? at Double or Nothing or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or no. Jack Perry got set on fire, I believe, too, or something like
Well,
that.
I know he threatened Tony Khan, and then he did. He pile drove him at one point.
Yeah.
Remember Tony with the neck brace
on draft day.
On draft day, yeah.
I still have a clip of that.
Yeah, no, it was, and then they're just basically doing the rewind machine and sending us back to Jurassic Express days.
We have retconned Jack Perry. That never happened. Okay, the heel turn. Never. We might get Marco Stunt in on this.
They had Marco in the video package tonight.
Yes, I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
By the way, our homework for next week, it's the 6th anniversary. I want the list of people who were there day one, and we're going to do who's better off, who's worse off than day one.
Did we do this already?
We did it on year 5. But I think there might be some people who are worse off.
No, it wasn't year 5. It was when we watched the. Oh no, you know what?
Oh,
it was when we did. No, we did that first anniversary show, which was actually the first anniversary of the company, not of Dynamite. So it was like January.
That was a general who's better off, who's worse off.
So we're going to look at just the people that were on the first show.
Just the people on the day one roster.
The day one roster. Okay. So we're going to do that next week. Everybody, you got something to look forward to. I will do my homework. I'll go back and look at the Observer. We'll find out who was on the roster. We won't do the whole roster.
My homework for me. And
we'll do like 20 and 10, maybe 20 men, 10 women, and see where they are, who's better off.
I don't think there's 10 women from day one that are still on this roster, Paul. It's going to be very easy.
Well, no, because if they're off the roster and somewhere else, we can talk about whether or not they're better off. Remember last time you're like, was so and so better off, and you're like, yeah, he's in WWE. No,
I think that was Ethan Page, I think,
or Cody.
Cody,
yeah.
It was Cody. It was Cody.
Yeah. But no, yeah, we'll do that because I actually just watched that first anniversary show or that first show. Not too long.
We still owe the people a pay-per-view, by the way.
Not a pay-per-view, show
or an old Dynamite. Yeah,
I talked about that. I said I have an idea, and I'm going to let you know what it is once I remember it. I said it like 2 minutes ago. Yeah. So
I'm not listening. I'm just waiting to talk.
I know. No, it was no. I had the idea. I actually had it narrowed down to 2, and one of them was the show where Hangman and Punk went off script. And then the other one was to try to find that one where Tully wrestled.
The 6-man against Jurassic Express.
Which might be timely, actually.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that one. All right. So, so thank you for that question. Thank you for the super chat. And that does bring us to
should they be arrested?
The All Out review. And we won't take too much time on this because we got a show to review here. Although this show tonight was, I know you love the show, Fernando, but this show tonight was boring as fuck. Okay, but
we got Paul swearing.
Yeah, great. Sorry. So the All Out. Overall, I did give my thoughts on this with Garrett on the takedown a little bit. So and we're not going to do like a review, but just some overall thoughts. I thought that there was a clear direction that they were going to be more adult in their presentation. I don't know if that's just something I picked up or if it was an actuality, but you had Bryan Danielson. You just mentioned me swearing. Bryan Danielson dropped an F-bomb in the middle of a match, and an S-bomb as well later. And then Taz as well dropped an S-bomb. You had Marina dropped an F-bomb into the camera during the Moxley getting lit on fire skit, which was a whole other thing. And I just you had all that. And then you had, like the Darby Mox match, which was, it was exactly what you're expecting, but it's still not really stuff I like to see. And then on top of that, there was a ton of out of the ring skits that were pretty much all bad. Like you had that, whatever the hell that thing was at the beginning with Edge and Wendell Clark and the dude with the glasses and another dude who I think was the same guy in like a green Power Ranger wrestler type
Oh.
outfit. Yeah. Somebody told me it's the same good dude. I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I guess they would have to do a cutaway or something. Yeah, that Acclaimed skit that was terrible. You had the Jurassic Express reuniting, which the crowd loved, so I give him credit for that. But for some reason, Rocky Romero decided to attack Jack Perry. I have no idea why. And I don't know why Jack Perry was mad at the Young Bucks. Like, I've not a clue. Apparently, it might have been dealt with on BTE, but I don't watch BTE, so I don't know. But like I said, it got over with the crowd. They got to sing the song, they got to wave their hands, and I'm sure they're going to get cheered when they're on Dynamite next week. So I will give them credit for that, even though I didn't particularly like it. And and the show, like the wrestling was good. I mean, some like the Hangman Fletcher match was really good. The 3-way for the unified title was really good. The rest ranged from good to very good, with the exception of that Eddie Bill match, which was terrible. And
Hurts
so
to get Ricochet and Gates of Agony wasn't anything to write home about.
I thought it was okay. Like, I didn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. Like, honestly,
the
crowd reacted.
I didn't like the ladder match either.
The crowd reacted to that. No, the ladder match was pretty weak for ladder matches. The Gates of Agony match, at least the crowd liked it. So for me, that brought it up a bit. The crowd was super into Bobby Lashley in that match.
Okay.
So whenever he was selling, though, yeah, it was that match wasn't very good. So for me, like, when the wrestling is not quite up to the AEW pay-per-view level wrestling, I'm going to focus a little bit more on some of the other stuff. And so I was a little more down on this pay-per-view than probably most people were. And that's why. If I'm just reacting to the wrestling, it was good. It was really good. But the rest of the show was not as good. And 5 hours is way too freaking long. Way too long for a pay-per-view.
I had 2 jokes that I thought were pretty good about this. The first was about the first topic you said, in that AEW may not be as family friendly as WWE now. And I disagree, because you can take your kids and they can get a good 3.5 hour nap during this pay-per-view between things that are interesting.
Ooh. Wow.
The other joke was, the funny thing about the whole Andreas Hale giving WrestlePalooza a C in Sports Illustrated is that the WWE fans think it's too low and the AEW fans think it's just too high. And I only kind of gave this one a C+. So they're both kind of in that mediocre range, because while they had good wrestling on this, there was a lot of filler on this show.
I gave them both 6 out of 10. Somebody tells me that's a D. So
in real life, that would 60% would be a D, but it's 6 out of 10. So I think it's more of.
I think it's like a C. Like, in my mind, they're both a C.
Yeah. But AEW is a higher C. Don't get me wrong. I liked Riho and Mercedes. I liked the main event. I laughed at Alvarez's review of FTR versus Cope and Christian, which was, you get hit with something and you flop down and you lay down for a few moments. I'm like, yeah, that's called selling, Brian.
I like that match a lot, actually.
I really did too. It's one of these weird things for me when I was thinking about the overall picture of Saturday's wrestling. It's like, if I could take the strengths of both companies and put them in the other company, I'd be happier with both companies, because AEW is really strong on the in-ring product when they care about it. Like, the ladder match to me was cringe because there's too many stunts that didn't matter just to do stunts. But AEW's problem is that they don't have any personality in their matches for the most part. They are indie matches that go through the motions, and then you get to the pin. WWE's problem is they do way too many story matches and melodrama and things like that, and sometimes the work suffers because we have to take this moment to cut a promo mid-match on somebody or something like that. So I mean, they decided to do that for their debut on ESPN. I mean, AEW was good, but it's like, I could have taken if I could have shortened it to an hour and a half and taken the matches I really, really liked and watched it. Here's the thing. They ask, was it a good show? I go, it had good matches in it, but was it a good show? It was a C+ show.
If you're going to go 5 hours, you better be freaking great for that full 5 hours. Otherwise, what's the point? Oh, we're just trying to fuck with WWE, pardon my French. Well, I don't care about that. I'm a fan that paid money and I want to see your best show. If you had
that's not the thinking though. In addition to that, it's we're giving people their money's worth by giving you more.
That's BS. Because if you had given me FTR and Cope, Mercedes and Riho, the unified title match, Tony and Chris, and the main event of Hangman and Fletcher. No, I'm just saying, if you give me those 5 matches and you give me 3.5 hours with those 5, I'd have been so much more happy.
That's an A+ show or an A show at least.
Right. And I'd have said that I got my money's worth. I was super happy. I was in and out of there in 3.5 hours. I love this show. Keep it up. But instead, you gave me 5 more matches and you made me spend 5 hours watching it. And by the end of it, I was thinking about all the negative stuff rather than thinking about how awesome the show I just watched was.
Yeah. And that pre-show tailgate brawl sucked. And I was so
Collision.
By it.
It was Collision. That's all it was. It was Collision.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole show was Collision. And they didn't even bother, like, it wasn't I've watched the pay-per-view pre-shows, which are more like pay-per-view pre-shows. This was Collision. They barely mentioned the pay-per-view. I mean, they would say it's coming and everything, but they didn't do any interviews to build it up or anything like that. Like, it was just Collision. And now I know when they're doing it again for Wrestle Dream. So I'm going to record it and I'll watch it eventually, but I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to make a point of watching it before the pay-per-view because they just told me it's not important.
I will say this. I liked the time change, even though I think the crowd, the problem with it's a problem when you're dealing with crowds that are in our time zones with these things, because God knows on that Mania weekend here in Los Angeles, you're going to Staple or Crypto.com arena at 10 a.m. for an NXT pay-per-view. It is hard to get a hot crowd for like a noon show or whatever that is. But for viewing purposes on television, I absolutely adore it because I have my evenings and stuff.
Well, for me, like I would have, but because I made plans to watch the WWE show at a friend's place, so we had to watch it live. So I paused the show when the ladder match started, and then I get back and I fire up the show again, and I've still got 2 freaking hours left to watch. 3 matches, and there's 2 hours, and are you kidding me? I didn't finish watching the show till almost 1 a.m. And I'm just like, yeah. So again, that's me. That's a me problem, but it's still. But yeah, so they're doing it again, and apparently, so all the ads they showed, they never showed a time for Wrestle Dream, and I'm wondering, are they going to do it in the afternoon again? But then apparently, Ryan Frederick posted something in the Discord, and it's like a schedule, and it's showing it's going to be the 8 Eastern, 7 Central. With the pre-show an hour earlier. So they're back to the evening again. So Tony Khan's saying, oh, we did our research and we found that the buys are better in the afternoon, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's bullshit. You're getting away from WWE. We all knew it.
It's the middle of October. It's SEC football season.
Yeah.
The wrestling fans can go, but it's not going to,
No, and they usually do those big games in the afternoon in October. So they're probably better off running
or the evening in prime time.
Yeah. So they're screwed either way. But apparently the show did decent business, right? Like 110,000 or something. So
no, they were saying that. I haven't seen anything on official.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, all right, let's get into this show, which I said was boring. Maybe as I recap it, I'll feel differently, but the attendance was 2,670, and the building holds about 12,000. And last time they were there, they did almost double that. And that was for a Dynamite a year ago. So they've been up year over year sometimes lately, but not this time.
Paul, don't worry about it. When WWE runs WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, the plan is cheap tickets in a stadium, and that'll get the. Never mind. I'm
but you know what the funny thing is
snarky about the board. They thought
last year
it would be a good idea to run head to head, and it's not a good idea to run head to head against WrestleMania.
No matter when or where WrestleMania is. The thing with this last one last year in October, you may recall Britt Baker had returned right around the time tickets went on sale for that show.
Yes.
So I think that a lot of that was for Britt. And then by the time the show came, Britt was gone. And we haven't seen her since. So.
Well, let me ask you something. When the women were in the main event, was there any inkling to you thinking maybe they bring back Britt in Pittsburgh?
Yes, I did have that thought.
So did I. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I wasn't
Yeah.
the only one.
Yeah, because someone had a sign, so that kept bringing, and they kept showing it.
I thought, okay, Stat turns, joins the Death Riders. Britt makes the save, and I go, oh, we're going to do the Britt babyface thing again.
So, you know what's funny is I thought Chris wasn't going to join the Death Riders, or if she was going to join the Death Riders, it was going to be that she was going to clothesline Wheeler, and then the Death Riders were going to kick Wheeler out. That's where I thought this was going. And then, spoiler alert, she clotheslines Wheeler and gets the hell out of there and flips Moxley off. So, guess she's not joining.
Oh, and just because we're on the main event anyways, I thought after Wheeler, like, begging her to come back or whatever, I thought Moxley was going to then beat up Wheeler and kick him out anyway. So we both thought Wheeler was eventually going to be thrown out tonight.
And he still might.
He wasn't.
But, and I'll also say, like, I thought that main event was really good. Like, really good. Like, way better than
I say possibly Mina's best match in AEW.
Possibly. And the best match on the show. And
yeah,
I'll also say that match is gonna get killed in the ratings.
Yes,
because Chris Statlander is not a main eventer yet, and Mina, God bless her, I don't think she is either. So, but I love the match. So they did a cold open. Excalibur ran down the card, and I think it was about 3 hours before the show. No, 4 hours before the show. I sent Garrett the rundown for this show. And all we had at that time were 2 matches scheduled. So between 4 Eastern and 7 Eastern, Tony added 2 title matches, one for the men's title, and then a tag team title match. So these were added, and I don't know why. And whatever. I guess it's fine. We got to see title matches, but
no. Let's call it like it is, because the Wrestling Observer has finally come around to our point of view. Promote. You are a promoter. Go out there and promote.
Well,
tell me what you're going to be showing.
He did a show on YouTube at 4:00. What are you talking about, Jeff? So we started with a Hangman promo. He said Kyle Fletcher took him to the limit like no one has before, but I'm still the AEW Men's World Champion. Kyle, I told you I'm going to be watching you, so don't disappoint me. Now, going into tonight, I asked to fight the best pro wrestler this city has to offer, and that's Lee Moriarty. Wow, what a way to bury Pittsburgh.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy, Paul Fontaine? Just a bang-up guy. This was
Kurt Angle?
It would have been something. Britt Baker. Let's wrestle Britt Baker. Intergender stuff. It would have been something if maybe last week we had decided we're going to do the hometown boy gets a title shot in his hometown, and we get a Lee Moriarty promo.
Lee Moriarty could have challenged whoever comes out of the match on Saturday. Whether it's Hangman or Kyle Fletcher. Like, you can do Kyle Fletcher and Lee Moriarty. Like, that's fine.
I thought this was a heel thing where it's like, yes, Lee Moriarty, come on down. You get a title shot. And yes, they did a fine video
we'll
package.
get to the match.
Because, hey, do you remember that Lee Moriarty wrestles here? I was hoping for Lee Moriarty's greatest hits with the Firm.
Yeah, we'll get to it. I mean, at least they did the video package, but
yes, fine. But you know what? It's one of these things where it's like, I'd like to hear from Lee. I'd like to hear him be excited that he's going to have a title shot. And maybe, you know what, on any given day, I can give me the kayfabe stuff. Let me lose myself in this world and let me believe for half a second that Lee Moriarty may get an upset over your world champion. Please.
Well, if you believe Bryan Danielson, which I don't, he came very close to winning that world title. Bryan Danielson in the last week has lost a lot of credibility with me. I'll just say that. He gets a
Don't you
little
know
too
that
worked.
Cody Rhodes taught him the joy of lying and how?
Oh,
fun it
yes,
is?
he did. And Tony Schiavone is giving him the advanced course. All right, but
I don't. Hold on. You need to explain that joke to me.
What?
I don't understand why he's lost credibility with you and why Tony Schiavone is involved.
Well, just because Tony Schiavone has the history of, oh, this is the greatest thing in the history of of our sport, and Bryan Danielson is just like, and the funny thing is I think he believes everything he's saying. The problem is I don't. And so when he gets overly excited about these things, I just like, I'm rolling my eyes. I'm just like, come on, Brian. Like, I remember you in the Cruiserweight Classic and you were like a commentator and you were giving analysis and you weren't like marking out at everything. And that's where like he's doing the Schiavone when he first started thing, but amped up to like 10.
I think he's being coached. I do. I think that might be coaching. I don't think might not be his choice. But
maybe, but yeah, so it'll take some getting used to. I'll still take it over Taz, but but
after tonight, I want heel Ricochet as a commentator taking over for Taz. I kind of really enjoyed.
Rick was pretty good. Rick was
yes.
Fun. Speaking of which, he came out for this opener. It was Gates of Agony against Brodito, and this again tag title match. And you may recall, like it was like a month ago that Brodito beat them in the tournament, in the quarterfinals of the tournament yet. And somehow here they got a title shot. So I guess maybe Toa last week when he lost to Bobby Lashley, that's probably what got them the match. They did an inset promo on the way to the ring. Always like those. Mm-hmm. The team is now known as the Demand. They came up with this name during the intro of the match at All Out. And then they never mentioned it once during the match. And then after the match, they mentioned it about 15 times to make sure you knew that this team was the Demand. It's right up there with the Vision as like the worst faction name.
They will be fighting their arch nemesis, the Supply, in a battle of economics somewhere.
Nice joke. So Ricochet says they took out the Hurt Syndicate on Saturday, which makes me think we might not see those guys for a while, if at all. The Trios title was going to be next, but Shibata isn't cleared, so Tony Khan gave us this match instead. And I'm like, I have no idea what the hell he's talking about, but okay. And the funny thing is, I saw this on in our Discord too. So like, I guess like this Shibata being not cleared was well known by people on Twitter, but I had no idea what he's talking about. And I watched the Danielson or the Daniel Garcia Shibata match. I didn't notice anything, so I guess something happened to him.
See, I was more concentrated on, man, that's some generic gear they just gave them as a team when they had better gear as individuals. Going there, and
now
the capes weren't working for me. I was just like, no, don't make them lose personality, and the hairstyles also this way, because I was kind of like, all right, which guy is who this week? I couldn't tell because of that.
What with Toa and Bishop?
Yes.
Yeah. I was having that issue as well, so I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Okay, cool.
Ricochet was making fun of Bandito, calling him a little guy, and Toa was no selling his offense. Danielson called him one of the strongest bench pressers in pro wrestling history.
It's true.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. Dave and Brian actually talked about this because Dave thought it was BS too. Oh. And it turns out he's actually bench pressed like over 600 once. So
okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So see, I think it's Danielson's delivery. Like he's not like, he may be telling me.
He sounds disingenuous when he's saying it. He sounds like he's working when he's saying these things.
They did put over the win over the Hurt Syndicate a lot, so that was good. Crowd didn't care about this at all. They went through a break. Brody was double teamed through the break. Bandito made the hot tag. Toa no-sold him again. Then Bandito, got on the offense again, did the Macarena. Press slammed Bishop Khan into Toa. That was incredible. Mm-hmm. And we got some more double teaming from the Gates of Agony. Brody broke it up. Went to do a dive against a seated Toa Leone. The camera inexplicably cut away, and apparently Toa caught him on his dive. That might have been nice to see. And they never even showed a replay of it. So that kind of sucked.
I don't think they got the shot. That's the problem.
I guess this is what production meetings are for, Tony. Ricochet got a chair. Cameraman again missed it. Then he was in the ring. Aubrey got in his face. She tossed him. Bandito rolled up Bishop Khan for 2. Khan took his head off with a lariat. got a choke slam. Brody broke it up. And then Bandito did a 21 plex on Toa while Brody dove out of the ring to take out Khan. Or, I think I got that backwards. It was Khan that got the 21 plex and Brody took out Toa and they got the win. Fun match. Again, I actually think the tournament match might have been even a little bit better, but
I do too.
This was more
it wasn't
about
bad.
This was trying to establish the Gates of Agony as a team that you needed to pay attention to, even though they lost, which is kind of, I don't know, what's the word? Competing.
I wouldn't have rushed them into a tag title match this soon. I would have given them like the Outrunners to kill again or something like that. And,
anybody.
And just establish them as, okay, we beat the Hurt Syndicate. Now we're coming after you. I liked this. Again, Ricochet had like an aside. You missed, you stupid geek, or something.
Yeah.
Just laughed. And of course, we have to give credit where due. He's doing a lot of the little personality things, like taking off the hat so he gets the bald chant before he gets thrown out. That was some nice. These are the things I pay attention to versus the wrestling. Because the wrestling is nice and smooth, but it's not terribly heated, so I don't get terribly invested in it. But I like the Gates of Agony. I hope they continue to give them time on the stick. And now they need to rebuild them again because they just lost a title match. So now we have to figure out what to do if we want. I mean, I'm here for local competitors and having the Gates of Agony come out and do a Road Warrior squash with these guys. I think they're worth it. I think it's worth investing in these guys as opposed to being Ricochet's red shirts necessarily.
Not to mention you've got, and I think the plan is, I bet you these guys are going to win the trios titles. And this is a kind of a weird way to set that up, but
I'm good with that too.
Then we got an interview backstage. Alicia Toot with the conglomeration. So it was, who was it? It was Willow, Kyle O'Reilly.
It was Willow, Hologram, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong doing absolutely nothing.
I have no idea why Willow was even there, especially given what she was going to do later. But
she's part of the conglomeration.
I know she is, but she did not need to be in this segment. And in fact, I would argue she shouldn't have been in this segment, given what she was going to do. Yeah.
Yes.
But anyways, Briscoe's happy that Callis is bringing out the big guns, the heavy hitters. And then Renee asks him, who are your three picks? Who's your final man?
Alicia, not Renee, but yes.
Sorry. The word of the day is mystery partner. No matter how hard you try appeal to squeeze this juicy information from me, I cannot divulge this information. But aren't you glad I had so many conglomerates to choose from? The future's so bright, maybe I should put on my shades. And him and Hologram put on shades, and they leave. And Willow dances away, and they're left with Kyle. And he says, "Thank you, Jane. Oh, where is my mind? Alicia." The fucking idiot. And then he leaves. And yeah. I know he thinks this is funny, but it's not.
I'm going to forgive Kyle because he has bad comedic timing, but he doesn't think he does. There was part of me. Look, I liked the reveal with the painting. I did.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought they could have gotten away with Mark Briscoe getting so fired up. He goes, "Oh, but I'm kidding. It's Orange Cassidy." And then bringing out Orange right there, where he can't keep the secret. I thought that would have been a bit endearing. I do.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why they bothered to make this a mystery thing. It was the return of Orange Cassidy. Like, maybe advertise it.
Well, right afterwards, they go to the
oh my God,
the commentary desk, and both Danielson and Excalibur are just being jerks about it. It's like, and Taz is trying to keep kayfabe, and it's like, okay.
You know what
I hate that.
You know what the thing with this is? If you saw the pay-per-view, obviously you know it's Orange Cassidy. But if all you saw was the advertisement that said it was Briscoe, a Hologram, and a mystery partner against the Callis family, how are you supposed to know who this mystery partner is? Like, you have no idea unless you saw that skit.
Yes.
And if you saw the skit, you obviously know. But maybe advertise it.
Well, that's just the point. They want the appeal of the mystery partner, but they want to tell you exactly who it is over and over and over again to keep the marketing of it. And people won't tune in if it's not a surprise. No, they will. It's the return of Orange Cassidy. He's one of your most over acts. Just do it.
Yeah. So whatever, it's fine. I mean, it did make for an entertaining thing when they brought him out eventually. So then we after this we saw the hologram clone video, which I'm not sure. It's not. This hasn't ever aired on Dynamite, so I'm not sure if it was very clear what it actually was. But if you've been watching Collision, you know that we're getting a hologram clone at some point. You like that?
Oh, we get two boring luchadors.
Okay, there you go. Then we got Renee, and it was Renee with Stat and Harley. Harley said a million words, and I caught 3 of them. Big Stata Daddy. Like, that's it. And then Renee congratulated Chris on her big win on Saturday. She beat Toni Storm for the women's title, if you didn't know. She says, I'm pretty beat up, but I'm a fighting champion, so why waste time? And Renee says, you're taking on the ROH television champion. So I don't know what's going on there, but she didn't even call her interim anymore. So maybe Red's done. Red Velvet, I don't know. Or maybe Renee just misspoke. But she said, close personal friend of Tony. Chris said, I love Mina. Not in the same way Tony does. Then Renee says, what's the association with the Death Rider? And Chris gave her a cold stare. Crowd booed. And then Chris said, things move really fast when you make decisions. And then Harley jumps in and says, yes, just like I will run right into your arms after you win. And this was wacky, but it kind of was setting us up for later on.
I am a Harley Cameron apologist. So she's just hilarious. And I can't wait for her to go to WWE and be a star. No, I actually am going to put over Chris Statlander a little bit here.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because her presentation of the title on that intro was very heelish to me at first. And I went, oh, good. Because at the end, you go, oh, it was all a ruse. But I was thinking she was giving little clues here and there. Fernando is just trying to tweak you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, Harley's in a good place. Yeah. And they fired her they fired her boyfriend or husband, whatever.
Yeah, she's not gonna jump up. No, ex-husband now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
You don't, never mind. I'll talk about it off the air.
Zion Quinn?
She has moved on.
Okay, well, I didn't know. So there you
go. Yeah, but I liked that. It was kind of like look at my title. I won it all by myself. Kind of a thing. I go, okay, that's cool. Because at the end you look back on that and go, okay, she planted some seeds to fool me, and she's not generally the best quote unquote actor in wrestling, if you want to put it that way. So I thought
and you had no idea where that ending thing was going. And the funny thing is I'm watching it.
Harley's random, just continuing going, and you just see Chris's kind of stoicness coming on. You go, oh, Harley, you in danger, girl.
Harley was great in that ending segment because, and the funny thing is, and I'll give credit to Taz there too, because he said what we were all thinking. Harley, get out of there. Like, you're doomed. And she wasn't. So it was all well done, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
See, I'm starting to come around on this show. It's a good thing I do the Dynamite show. Anyways, then we got the Hangman Page Lee Moriarty match. This match was a complete waste of time. It was boring as hell. They tried to work a pure wrestling match, and it just wasn't getting over with this crowd. Lee Moriarty did some cool reversals, but the problem is he's got no credibility at all. In AEW. In Ring of Honor, like, this match would have been great, but we're not in Ring of Honor. And there was one spot where Hangman went for a dead eye. Lee reversed it into an octopus. Crowd kind of got into that. Then they went to the ground and into a Border City stretch. So I'm assuming he was probably trained by Alex Shelley. And Danielson at this point was screaming. And then Hangman just got to his feet, hit a lariat, hit the dead eye, got the win. Didn't even need a buckshot. And that was that. And Lee Moriarty, hometown boy, see ya, bye. Back to Ring of Honor for you. And that was that.
I think Hangman's wrestling too much. Can I say that?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, to me, I'd like him. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to fix what I'm not liking in Hangman, and it's never going to be on the promos. He's never going to get there for me, at least. I want him to feel a little bit more special, as a special treat to watch, I guess. You know, kind of like, I mean, but that's my old school brain talking too. So maybe, you know, oh man, we got a good 3.5-star match from Hangman this week. Okay, cool.
Maybe like you know what? I will say I like the match they're doing next week with Hangman. Like those are okay.
That's a nice special attraction type match too.
Yeah.
And I like those types of things.
And you can build feuds off of that, but just these random singles matches, it's
I don't need Tony Khan to prove to me that Hangman's a really good wrestler.
I think the reason he's doing it is because he wants people to watch the show, and he's only got so many people that he thinks are draws, and that's why we see Moxley wrestling almost every week and Hangman. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's the reason. The problem is that the longer you do that, then the more it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So. And I'll be honest, the ratings aren't that great even with these guys wrestling. So maybe try some. I think put Fletcher on the thing every week doing the TNT Open title challenge. I bet you that would draw.
But Tony's not seeing the forest from the trees. He thinks putting them on to wrestle makes him a star, and it doesn't. Putting them on to talk makes him a star.
Yes, exactly. Then we got
available for hire, Tony. Come get me, please.
Then we got a segment that I thought was pretty good. And the funny thing is my wife was watching at the time, because that's a long story, but I'll just say she was in the room watching. She didn't like this segment, but I did. Anyways, so it's, so you know what? Sorry. They pitched to what I thought was going to be a backstage segment with FTR, but it was actually Cope and Christian. Mm-hmm. And Renee asks Copeland about what happened to Beth. And Cope says, I got nothing for you. And then Christian asks him what's going on. Cope says, I don't know. I can't keep doing this. It's affecting my family. This has happened before. I got to go, man. I don't even know if I can come back. And Christian says, well, I don't have a family anymore, so you go ahead and take care of yours. And then he starts to leave, and then Cope turns around and he says, no, buddy, you do have a family. And he put out his hand, and Christian shook it. And that was that. So,
and the studio audience went, and then the credits rolled.
I think Christian's a babyface now after this. This was fine. But I will say, did they ever once mention what actually happened to Beth? Oh, I guess yes. Dax kind of did, when he was talking about it, but they didn't show it. I guess you can't really show it. For those that missed, Dax gave her a pretty stiff-looking pile driver. Like, I'm sure she's fine, but it was pretty brutal looking. Then we got the Tony Schiavone promo with FTR. He calls what happened at All Out one of the most despicable, underhanded, and disgusting things we've ever seen in an AEW ring. I'm not even sure if it was the most disgusting thing we saw that night. But anyways, he said it's the worst thing we've ever seen in an AEW ring.
Yes.
Cash grabbed the mic and he said, I want to do this myself. And fans are booing. He says, we deserve that. He says, the actions that happened at All Out in Toronto have kept me out at night. I've tossed and churned. I can't get out of my head. Our intentions were to beat and end Cope and Christian and send them off to retirement while we focused on the AEW World Tag Team titles. But Adam Copeland couldn't stand that. So what does he do? He brings in his childhood best friend. He brings in his wife, the mother of his children, into our business. There's one person to blame for this, and Adam, it's you. You might as well have dropped her on her micro brawler head yourself. That was harsh.
I think that's an old Stokely line.
It is.
Calling her a micro brawler. So that's
speaking
a nice
of Stokely, it's his turn to talk.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
I forgive Beth for what she did to me at All Out. When we were hanging out after church on Sunday, all three of us.
Okay, stop here. Because when he said, when we were hanging out chatting after church on Sunday, I paused my show and I had to compose myself.
Yeah.
Because that was such a strong line. I just went, and only Stokely could get away with something like that. So I adored him. And then I just kind of did this. I just went.
Yeah.
And then waited a few moments after it subsided, and I continued, and now you may continue.
All right. So he says, we had a chat, and I'll tell you what I told them. I wasn't running up to the ring to attack her. I was trying to introduce myself. And instead, I got a spear instead of a handshake. But I got to tell you, I wasn't even hurt. I was about to nip up, and then she picked me up. Now, they say chivalry is dead, but I allowed that woman to spear me. They all know it. They needed Beth to win to level up because FTR is the greatest tag team of all time. And the worst part of it is that Beth doesn't even work here. Just perfect.
I know it's way old school, but I need a match with FTR versus Cope and Christian. And if Cope and Christian win, Beth gets 5 minutes
with Stoke.
With Stokely. Please give it to me.
Oh, it's coming. I mean, I think we're also going to get a 6-person match.
We're getting the 6-person, and then he'll get heat by attacking her. But I need just the you two are alone in the ring for 5 minutes thing. I need. Didn't
they do? I think they might have done that at some point with like Willow and him or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
or Stat.
It wasn't good.
No. Dax grabs the mic and he says, I was advised to come out here and sincerely apologize for my actions on Saturday. I will not apologize for dropping Adam Copeland on his frail neck, or for dropping Christian Cage on his CTE riddled brain. Beth, I hope you know I would never purposely hurt you. Beth, I watched you attack my best friend. Excuse me. And as I tried to intervene, you punched me in my broken nose, which caused my eyes to water. And when you attacked me, I thought it was your husband. So I picked you up and I dropped you on your head by accident. So I learned a little lesson Saturday night, Beth, and I hope you did too. I would never put my hands on a woman. And with you, Beth, I use that term very loosely. So before he can bury himself any further, and I mean this in this greatest way possible, he's interrupted by Willow. Now, I will say her coming down the ramp and smiling away, and dancing to her music was probably not the right tone for this segment. But as soon as she got in the ring, she says, hello, boys. That was not a great apology. I think if you wrestled as good as you lied, you would have won. But I'm not really here to talk about you guys or me. I'm here to talk about an inspiration, a Hall of Famer, Beth Copeland. Women like Beth who inspired us, what they've done for this business. It's why I became a wrestler. It's why I went to little shows when I didn't know how I was getting home. Why I came back from a broken freaking neck. I like the little tribute to Kurt Angle in Pittsburgh here. To become all elite. Like main event shows, win the Owen, the TBS title. Women like Beth are the reason women like me don't take shit from guys like you. Fans are chanting Willow. So if you boys want to try that apology with a little more sincerity this time, look into that camera and give it a little go. Stokely says, it's past your bedtime. And before he can say any more, Willow slaps him. Dax got in her face. Jet Speed shows up to make the save. They cleared the ring. Willow tried to go after Stoke, but FTR pulled him out. So I thought this segment was great.
I wasn't sure if they were corpsing or not, but Cash and Stokely, when Willow came out with something, I don't see the use of this.
What do you mean? Well, I guess Willow's going to be a surrogate for Beth.
Okay.
So
is she going to take a shatter machine or something, I guess? Okay.
Maybe, or she's going to get Stokely. Like what you propose, maybe it's her that gets the 5 minutes.
Yeah, but I guess.
Or you know what they could do? They could do the match.
This is the mixed 6-person that.
But they could do the match, and they could have the stip that if they win, you get 5 minutes alone with Stoke, and then Willow grabs a mic and says, as much as I want to get my hands on Stokely Hathaway, there's someone that wants to get her hands on him more. Then you bring out Beth to a huge pop. And then I think that would be great. Like,
yeah, I could go for that. I here's the other thing is Jet Speed.
Oh,
look, I am here for FTR versus Jet Speed in the Tully and Arn versus Rock and Roll Express kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is Jet Speed mean nothing right now because they haven't been kept strong at all.
No, it's funny because Dave pointed out that, they're great because you can have them lose to anybody. And it's like, no, you're jobbers.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we went back. We got some revealing comments from MJF after Saturday. This was great too. He's sitting in a stairwell. He's all beat up and bloody, tacks in his back and all over his body. He says, "I'm so angry right now. I don't even have the energy to give anymore. I was the biggest star in wrestling. Didn't matter which show you were watching. I was the guy everybody talked about. Then Adam Cole came into my life. He broke his ankle, and I'll be honest, he broke my heart. I lost my world title. I lost my mojo. I lost everything. So I went away for a while, and I came back, but I'm not an idiot. I accomplished more than anyone could dream of in this time frame, but something's missing. I'm not MJF. I'm a caricature. I'm a guy playing MJF. I've had so many mistakes, and I'm trying to snap out of it, but I'm just like these thumbtacks. I'm creating doubt after doubt after doubt. These tacks are tacks. They're doubts. I can't come back until I no longer see a fraud. Osprey, Swerve, Hangman, they were all once in my dust, and now I'm in theirs. So when I come back, I won't be playing MJF. I won't even be the MJF of old. I'll be the most dangerous man I've ever been." He pulls a tack out of his body and he says, "Doubt. There are many times I knew I was sure you knew I bit off more than I could chew. And when there was doubt, I ate it up and I spit it out." And as he says this, he chews the thumbtack and spits it out. And he says, "When I come back, I'm taking my spot at the top of pro wrestling the only way I know how, whether you like it or not." And he looks in the camera and he says, "My way." So I don't know. I guess he's coming back with another Frank Sinatra song like Hook. And then he gets up and he leaves, and they show the tacks in his back. And I thought this was good. So he's going to be gone for a while, and he's going to come back and cash in his contract.
Honeymoon time. Yeah, and I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Because I thought everything in this promo was relatively true.
Yeah. I mean, he's good. Like, so good.
He is so good, but then he gets into the edgelord comedy line, and then he can't get back the intensity type.
And he didn't do any comedy here.
I do like MJF a lot. He is one of the people that I tune in to watch every week. So, yes.
I think he needs a manager when he comes back.
I agree. I mean, boy, if Wardlow wasn't injured, I'd like to see him have a manager and a heavy.
Yeah.
And that would be a nice little picture. Look, if the Hurt Syndicate's leaving, I don't know if MVP's leaving with them, but if he wasn't, that kind of thing. The problem is Christian is so much taller and bigger.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Too. Christian's problem is his height, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like J.J. Dillon was taller than Tully Blanchard, if you recall, but nobody ever thought that J.J. Dillon was a better wrestler than Tully Blanchard. So it's one of those things where the stage, you can have somebody taller than you and bigger than you, but if they think they're better than you, I think that works against it.
Arn Anderson would have been good for MJF, like a guy like that.
Thinner, more agile Arn Anderson would have.
Okay.
The fat coach Arn Anderson, and I love me some Arn Anderson. At the end, I mean, he couldn't take a bump. He couldn't really do much. He wasn't really much of a promo thing because his voice is shot for the most part. It's like, I can't even listen to his podcast anymore because his voice is so raspy.
Yeah, but MVP actually is the guy, but I don't know if he's sticking around. So.
Actually, if Flair had left at any time and not become a complete caricature of himself wearing suits made out of 1970s couches and whatnot, and was still kind of, dressed to the nines and everything, he would have made a perfect one.
Heyman would be.
If he had left for like 15
Heyman would be the absolute 1,000% perfect manager for MJF. Like,
younger Cornette would have been pretty good too. I think,
but for so many reasons. I mean, the fact that they're both Jewish, that.
Yes.
Yeah. Like.
Actually, yes.
Yeah. All right. Then we got the intros for the Callis family. And then Callis gets a mic and he says he's been working on his masterpiece. He's been painting for 6 days and 6 nights. And I want to unveil it now, but it's so big they have to roll it out. So a bunch of these guys roll out this big canvas, and I'm waiting. I just want to see what this painting is going to be and what outlandish thing are they going to show. And then Don says Picasso and all the others are going to roll in their graves when they see it. So they pull off the curtain for this reveal. And Orange Cassidy steps out of the canvas. And to Callis' fears, he wrecked my painting. And then Rocky Romero runs up the ramp to try to attack Orange, and he just steps out of the way, and Rocky just bounces through the canvas. And
what a fantastic bump that was.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Props to him. I was very upset because I assumed that this was the Hechicero painting I had been waiting for.
Oh, no. It was all a swerve. But that led into Orange Cassidy, Briscoe, and Hologram against Okada, Takeshita, and Hechicero. And at first, like, Orange was out there, and he's like, in there with Okada and Takeshita, and the Pixies music is playing, and it doesn't stop. And then they're going on for a little while, and then they go outside the ring. Orange Cassidy did the Okada falling elbow, like, onto everybody. And then they get back in the ring, and then the bell rang. So it's like, oh, okay, that last 5 minutes I just watched wasn't part of the match. They proceeded to have just, basically a house show match. It was nothing special. It was fine. It was good in times. Everyone hit all their moves, and Orange Cassidy looked good. He did his Stun Dog Millionaire. He did the bullshit kicks on Okada and Takeshita. Okada and Takeshita were working good together, and then a couple times they just stopped and looked at each other. So there's still tension there.
Okay, stop there.
Okay.
They were working great together.
Yes, they were.
I wanted to see an Okada and Takeshita tag team within the Callis family at one point. And then the reasoning for their tense stare downs is because they back into each other or something. Yeah. I'm like, no, that's bullshit. Don't give me that. They're gonna so well together.
They're gonna stretch this out to the C2, and then it's probably gonna be Okada and Takeshita in the finals. I
wanted them to high five.
Yeah, wow.
Keep the thing going until they find a reason to break up. Actually,
maybe a fist bump, not a high five. I don't think those two are high fiving.
Something to say we're on the same page. That's all I wanted. And yeah.
So eventually, what was inevitably going to happen, because Hologram is undefeated and you're not pinning Okada and Takeshita. So eventually Hologram got in there with Hechicero, and
it was awesome in this match.
Yeah. And he spun Hologram around, and he's spun right into an Orange Cassidy Orange Punch. Hologram hit a weak looking portal bomb and got the pin. So after all this, it was like the two people in the match that were the least important. Actually, I will say Briscoe was barely even in this match, and
he's hurt probably.
He came off the win over MJF, and Danielson I think even pointed out that he probably should be up for a title shot, but I don't really get the sense that that's happening anytime soon, so I'm not sure why Danielson mentioned it. But I think Danielson just probably what he thinks. Callis was pissed off, and Orange Cassidy's a fly in the ointment, and they pointed out that Hologram is now 34-0. And anything you want to add about the match before I get to Kyle's promo?
We underappreciate Hechicero and what he does in these matches. He's so good.
Yeah.
Both on offense and being a geek heel, taking other guys' moves. I absolutely I adore watching him. He's possibly my favorite guy in AEW right now.
Wow. Well, my favorite guy in AEW was the guy that came out after the match. So I wrote here, the Proto Star comes out. I howled when Brian Alvarez on, I think it was the B&V show, when Kyle always mentions, say my full name. He's like, Brian is so confused because he's like, does anybody just call him Kyle or just call him Fletcher? Like, why is he so upset that they won't say Kyle Fletcher? And it's like, he completely missed
idiot.
It. Yes. And every time. And I just, it's the Proto Star Kyle Fletcher. Anyways, he, and then I wrote, as soon as he came out, I'm like, oh, maybe Hologram's going to get a title shot. And then Kyle's got a mic and he says, Pittsburgh, the Proto Star has arrived. Mr. Cassidy, nice to see you again. Welcome back. Mark, not so much. But this concerns you all. This past Saturday at All Out, I proved I belonged in the main event. I proved I belong at the tippy top of this industry. Here's a little shot at Stevie Richards here. I may not have been ready that night, but I will be ready one day very soon. I am a future AEW Men's World Champion. And the Hangman was right about one thing. The next morning was the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. I never felt so defeated, so crushed. But then I looked in the mirror and I remembered who the hell I am. I'm on track to becoming the greatest TNT champion of all time. Right now, I look in the ring. I see a bunch of dorks. I see an opportunity. Hologram, you currently have the longest undefeated streak of any man in AEW history. It's impressive. And he pointed out any man in AEW history. So I think Jade had a longer streak. Impressive. Am I right? Is it 34-0 after tonight? Or should I say 34 and scared of Kyle Fletcher? Because the only reason your streak has lasted this long is because you never stepped in the ring with me. I can't think of a better way to get off the horse than to become the first to pin you in an AEW ring. So next week at the 6th anniversary of Dynamite, Kyle Fletcher hologram, title versus streak. And then when I end your streak, you will say my full name. And he drops the mic. This was beautiful. I love Kyle Fletcher.
34 and scared of Kyle Fletcher. Such a ridiculously stupid line, and I loved it. I did. I liked the motivation here too. I'm gonna take something from you that you basically can't get back, but dare I say, I think Hologram may win the TNT title.
Oh God, no. No.
To get it off of Fletcher so he can move up the card. I think so. Okay.
No.
And then they introduce his
the clone's gonna cost him the match.
The clone isn't interesting unless Hologram has something. Otherwise, it's just two guys who look like each other wrestling each other.
I really hope I hope Hologram doesn't win that title. He's well on his way to becoming the greatest TNT champion of all time.
I
believe Kyle Fletcher. I don't believe Daniel Bryan.
I love
Bryan Danielson.
So odd because Fletcher now has. I never thought Kyle Fletcher would have this amount of aura, as the kids say.
The thing is, he's getting cheers too. Like the fans were into everything he said. Sometimes they were booing, sometimes they were cheering, but he was getting reactions.
But I also think, and the reason I was also thinking that is it could be a good character beat too for Fletcher if he loses the TNT title and has a psychic break where he's still arrogant after this world title match. And he's like, I almost won the world title. And then you realize maybe I'm not that, so maybe I need to get a little bit more vicious, and he becomes more heelish as opposed to more arrogant because he has arrogant down. Now he needs to work on viciousness, I think, a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, do you break the hologram streak? What is interesting about hologram other than that he now has a guy that looks like him with a different color mask fighting him?
I don't know. I've never been interested in hologram to begin with, so
I haven't either.
He's Tatanka to me. Wow. Well, no, it's just like Tatanka had a big long winning streak, and then he lost it, and then we didn't see Tatanka no more.
I mean, to me, he's on Collision, so he doesn't matter all that much.
There's that too, and now he's wrestling on Dynamite next week, which I mean, I'd have to look back and I guess it was this week, but when the last time
but Collision's on TNT, correct?
Yes, so it's a different network.
So you move the TNT belt onto hologram. He takes the belt with him over there, and you just keep Fletcher over here.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, because Fletcher's been mostly wrestling on TNT, I think. All right, and then immediately Tony Khan made it official. Then we got Mina Shirakawa with Renee. She said, you got a huge match for you tonight, taking on Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's World Championship. And she says, some personal stakes here. Mina says, since Saturday, I've not heard from Tony. I'm worried. We made a promise to each other. We love hurt. We fight hurt. She wanted did she say she wanted my breast or my best? Because I heard my breast.
Okay, I made that joke too. I'm
not joking. I think I heard my breast.
There's no way. I think she said I want my best, but in my head I went, I'm gonna save that joke for the show, and then Paul just brought it up, and I don't have to do it anymore. So you're the creep. Okay, continue.
I didn't think it was a joke. I think it was her double entendre. But either way,
I just thought it was her broken English.
Well, it might have been, but I think she was saying she was doing Tony here.
Okay, I can also excuse that.
Yeah, but she says, Chris, you will get all of Mina tonight. I fight for Tony. I fight for Mina. And I fight to win the AEW Women's World Championship. She tried to kiss Renee, and then Renee wished her good luck. And that was that.
Me to kiss on Renee was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen.
Renee looked violated when it was over. Like she reacted like she'd been violated. We got video. This was kind of similar to what they showed on the pay-per-view. It was Jack Perry digging out Luchasaurus from his grave.
This was exactly what they showed on the pay-per-view. It wasn't like it. It was exactly what they showed.
Well, the difference here is we got some voiceovers from Jack. So he said, life is uncertain. It's fragile. We can all change in the blink of an eye. We can be swept so far away from where we have family, become the things we love the most we lost. And they showed highlights of the Jurassic Express winning titles and splitting up. And Marco was in here as well. Victims, aren't we all, or are we more? Can we choose to be better, stronger, to rebuild? Can we hear the call once more? We pick ourselves up to ride again. This is all like such bullshit.
Shut the fuck up, Raven.
Yeah. But Jurassic Express returns next week at the 6-year anniversary, and they played the song and everybody waved their hands and everyone was happy. It's such a weird like tonal shift from like this bullshit, like Raven stuff promo to da na 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 na. Like, and it's weird. Like Jack Perry's gonna come out there with his big beard and his hair and Kill Switch. It's all evil, and they're gonna be like with Jungle Love or whatever that song is. I don't know.
That'd be awesome. I don't think worst day in the time. Come on, man. It's so and his renders are smiling now, and you're kind of like, okay,
yeah.
But he's weird. Doesn't have the baby face anymore. He has a beard now. Is he going to shave that off and go back to the actually being a baby face? I like Jack Perry. It's just one of these things where clock's ticking, man.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's like, he came in, he was a young kid, and I think he's still young, but what is he, like 28 now? Something like that. So
he is young, but the development, it's like you draft a wide receiver for your team, and he shows some flashes in that rookie season. You think once he gets the system, he'll be great.
And then you benched him for a year.
And then you don't see the development after year one, and you're going, okay, yeah, but he still has potential here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, now you're looking at him going, cap casualty, kind of a thing. And I'm just, okay, we're going to go back to the basics, see what worked with him the first time. And then who knows? But I mean, Luchasaurus isn't, he gets injured. He had the health scare, and he gets injured, and he's older.
Yeah. He's
going to last a few years. And then
he's like in his late 30s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then we got Claudio and Powerhouse Hobbs. I got almost nothing here. This was boring, really boring. All they did was punch each other. And you'd think like the crowd would be into it, and they tried to get some meat chants going, but people just did not care. And then like they're and it's just the two of them. They're just beating on each other. And then Hobbs hit a clothesline and a body slam. Pac shows up out of nowhere. He looks so different now. It's the
bangs. It's the bangs on the hair.
And he's wearing a shirt. Like Pac, like it's never worn a shirt. And he
I thought it was pants that Pac never wore.
Oh, that too. But he looks like a smaller Wade Barrett now. Like he's got like a full beard, but he's got his hair straight too. Like
I'm afraid I have some bad news.
It's not just bangs, like his hair's straight. It used to be curly, right? Or not curly, but greasy and long, and now it's like shorter. And yeah, he looks like every villain in a Guy Ritchie movie. Like it's whatever. But he shows up and he distracts the ref, or Pobbs, I should say, and then Claudio hit the uppercut and cradled him and pinned him. I wrote that sucked, and that was that.
Every Claudio match you've seen the past 6 weeks when he's in the quote unquote main event,
except worse, because usually the crowd pops at some point, and there was like nothing here. It was pretty weird. So Joe ran out, chased Pac away. Then Garcia showed up, Wheeler. They start triple teaming Hobbs, and Joe's back. 5-on-2, no Mox or Marina. Then Hangman came out, cleared the ring himself. So that was that. Then they have the move of the night, sponsored by someone who didn't pay us, so I'm not going to mention their name. And they it was the Lariat and the Deadeye by Hangman. And then they announced the Tony Khan announcement is next. And X says, "Take it away, T-Bird." Did you catch that?
Yes.
So Tony Khan, thanks, guys. We're having such a great 2025. This announcement will make things even better. We have some of the best wrestlers in the world. I always said AEW is where the best wrestlers, and I'm so proud of the AEW women's division. So we're going to have new championships in this division coming soon. We will crown the inaugural AEW Women's World Champions, World Tag Team Champions. And he says, "Renee, take it away." And yes, that was that. I probably did that with way too much. Actually, Tony was pretty good here by Tony's standards. You know,
Did a
he was
second take, possibly.
maybe, but he didn't say when this tournament was going to take place or where. He's also announced an ROH Pure Women's title that has had one match in 2 months, like in this tournament. Did you know that? They announced this tournament in like April. And they had one match on the last ROH pay-per-view. They've got brackets. We know who's wrestling. We don't know when. So that's a further along than this. And this is, at some point in 2025, we're going to have this tournament. Or he's just going to announce, "Hey, you're the tag team champs." I don't know. They didn't say there was going to be a tournament. Anyways, Renee's at ringside. She unveils the AEW women's tag team titles. They pull off this thing and there's a couple belts, and the crowd just kind of, there's a couple belts. Like they barely reacted.
Like the Ring of Honor Pure title or something.
I think they were expecting this like big,
ooh, you deserve it.
Yeah, no, it was nothing.
This is a problem or a solution in search of a problem.
Yes.
We don't have any women's tag teams that are necessarily going from territory to territory anymore. We don't have any real tag teams in AEW, to be honest.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I will fight back on you on that.
The Renegade Sisters?
No, we got like 6, 7 tag teams.
No. We have partnerships.
No,
we don't have. They don't really do tag team moves, though. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot like. You remember that era of WWE when all the tag champs were like they didn't have any tag team names. It was like Kofi Kingston and half the roster were.
Okay, we got Ty J. We got Ty J. We got
all right. We have Julia Hart and Sky Blue as part of
the what did they call them on the Sin Sisters?
Yes.
We have Cam Lander. That's a name I
They have names. They don't have moves.
We have there's others. Oh, Penelope and Megan.
Champs.
What? They're should be the tag champs. Yeah. Almanada and Willow. We got some teams, dude.
Actually, can I go back and have that Almanada Emi Sakura team?
There you go. There you go. Yeah. We could have Rio and Yuka.
That's that's who I thought the first tag champs may be.
Yeah, like we got some teams, dude. I'm actually looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good tournament. But you're right. Like all we're doing is taking women from the singles division and putting them in the tag team division. Like that's
I like tag team wrestling with double teams and good moves and stuff like that. And I'm almost scared to see Julia Hart and Sky Blue do a double team maneuver.
Oh, Deanna and Taya, remember them? The Vendetta.
The Vendetta, yeah.
Isn't that their name?
There was talk of possibly Britt and Deanna coming back as a team tonight, but okay.
Britt and Laney Reed would be. Oh, that's a different company. But they'd be a good team. Either company. Laney can come over here. All right, and the main event. And I will point out they mentioned this all night that this was going to be the main event, so they dug their own grave. Because like I said, I don't think this is going to draw any viewers, but they sure were not shy about telling you that this women's match was going to main event the show. So it was Chris Statlander and Mina Shirakawa for the AEW Women's World Title. Wheeler Yuta showed up and he gave some advice to Stat again. This is like, I mean, I applaud the consistency, but He's just coming out there every week to tell her, hey, put her in a seatbelt. Is that it? Like, is that what he's telling her?
Yes.
Like, okay.
That's exactly it. Much like Bryan Danielson's advice was use a plastic bag, which I called, by the way.
Oh, Ryan Frederick called that too. Yeah, that was, but yeah, you did it first. That's right. All right. So he gave the advice. Statlander no sold it. Crowd was, again, like probably more into this match than anything else on the show. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this thing drew great numbers. Like in Chris Statlander, they made a main eventer. I really do, because that'd be great. Because I loved the fact that the crowd was into this. And Mina was like in control, and they told a good story. She was working over the knee. And
I thought Mina was really good in this match.
Yeah, one of her finishers, the figure four, and Stat was good in selling it. So they went to break with Stat in control, and Stat was kind of the heel for the match. They came back from break with 3 minutes left to go, so that was good timing. They announced for Collision, we're going to get Hook and Eddie Kingston against Big Bill and Brian Keith. The Acclaimed, or they didn't call them the Acclaimed. It's Anthony Bowens and Max Caster against Swirl, which is Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. And Kyle Fletcher and Commander for the TNT title. And Excalibur pointed out, hey, you know what? Commander could win this belt, and then he would be defending against Hologram on Dynamite. And then they just showed Kyle Fletcher and Hologram on Dynamite. And the Jurassic Express returns. And just announced John Moxley, Daniel Garcia, and Claudio Castagnoli against Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, and Hangman Page. So that is for the Dynamite 6th anniversary from Hollywood, Florida, wherever that is. So they're back to the action. Statlander went for Wednesday Night Fever. Mina powered out. She hit a Death Valley driver. Mina kicked out. Mina hit a couple dragon screws, which is great because she'd been working the knee. Mina hit a sling blade from the top. Crowd was reacting to all the kickouts, which they don't always do. She hits a spinning punch and a kick, and then Stat picked her up on her shoulders, but her leg kind of gave out. Mina rolled her up, put on a figure four. Chris tried to punch out of it, and she couldn't, so she made the ropes. Mina starts stomping the knee again. Statlander hit a super kick when she got up. Mina hit a couple spinning strikes and a roundhouse, and then the spinning back elbow, and that looked great. And then Statlander just got up, which that's the one thing I kind of didn't like, because I thought that, but they were probably running out of time. And then she went for the figure four again, but Stat reversed it and kind of got on a sloppy looking seatbelt and got the win. The finish didn't look great, but I liked the rest of the match. And it was a good main event. Maybe the best match on the show. I mean, I like the opener too, so between those two. And then after the match, Wheeler comes in to congratulate her. Harley jumps in and starts hugging her. Wheeler's clapping. Then out come Daniel Garcia and Claudio. By the way, Daniel Garcia, he's just furniture again. Pac's out there too, I noticed. And then Death Rider's music hit. Statlander held Harley's hand, like just holding her close, and you just knew Doom was coming.
Oh, I'm buying into it the whole time.
Oh yeah. Mox and Marina come out. Wheeler's in the ring clapping. He's just all happy. I wrote.
Did Marina? Oh no, that was Harley. Never mind. I thought when Harley got in the ring at first, I
thought it was Marina too. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Harley. I wrote Harley is so dead, and Moxley gets in the ring and he puts his hands behind his back and he's just staring down Statlander. Then Wheeler gets in between them and hugged her, and then Statlander didn't react, and then she hugged him back. And then Harley starts backing up. Wheeler raised her hand. Harley's got this look on her face like, oh, God, I'm fucked. And Taz is like, get out of there, Harley. And then immediately Stat takes down Wheeler with a clothesline. Moxley's got this shocked look on his face. Marina runs after her, and then she gave Mox the double bird, took off through the crowd with Harley, flipping Mox off the whole time. And as he's staring at her and trying to figure out what just happened, Darby's music hits. And he comes out with a flamethrower and he heads towards the Death Riders and he's pointing it at Mox, keeps firing it off, and Mox is backing up, tripped over the ring steps. I think that was a shoot. And then they left through the crowd. And Darby says, John, when are you going to realize I'm never going to quit? Darby Allin, John Moxley, Wrestle Dream, I Quit match. I'm like, fuck. I'm swearing a lot. Sorry. And then they announced next week it's going to be Darby and Statlander against Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir in a mixed tag match.
Huh?
Yeah. I'm still a little worried about Darby. I'm not quite convinced on this Statlander thing, but we'll see next week. Which is good, by the way, if they're keeping me interested. Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to another Darby Mox match. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not sure I enjoyed that coffin match that much. I liked it, but yeah, I just found this ending angle kind of like, and this feud must continue. And I kind of went, meh. And he has a flamethrower, and I know he's not going to try and burn anybody with that flamethrower. So why do we have the flamethrower out here? I was already ahead of it, and I was like, all right, let's get to whatever it is.
Did the wrong finish in the coffin match, by the way.
I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Moxley's getting burned alive in this match.
Wait, is he? I thought he got burned alive on Saturday.
Well, no, it was real quick, and they got the extinguishers. But he's getting that Randy Orton Bray Wyatt suit or whatever, like with the gel.
Okay,
they're doing.
Well,
the
maybe that means we won't see him for a while.
Might be Darby, but I think it's going to be Mox.
Well, Darby probably is pitching to have it happen. Yeah. So that was that. Yeah. So you know what? I changed my mind. Well, I didn't like the Hangman match. I didn't like the Claudio match. So I think maybe that was affecting my opinion of it being a boring show. It wasn't as bad as what I said it was at the beginning of the show. As you can tell from my review, I liked a lot of the show. So I have no idea what's happening for the pay-per-view. I don't know who Hangman's going to defend against. I assume it'll be one of the Death Riders. Maybe Pac. I don't know.
You got 3 weeks.
Could be Claudio. I mean, he got the win tonight. If he gets a pin next week, it might be Claudio. That's death. Like Hangman and Claudio on a pay-per-view? Like, ugh.
Yeah. You'll never make Claudio hot enough to be a world title contender.
No, like TV match, maybe. Pac would be good because they did have a good feud at the beginning of AEW, and Pac's actually up 2-1 in the series. So,
yeah, Pac can talk his way into it, and he'll have like some video vignette where he's like losing his mind again, and it'll be fun.
Yeah. Women, who knows? I have no idea what. Tony's gone, I guess, for now, but I'm sure she'll be back soon.
I think it's going to be Statlander and Marina Shafir.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That could be. Yeah. That'd be interesting. Marina's not very good, so I don't know what would happen with that. Like, oh, sorry, Rhonda. She has 5-star matches. 1 5-star match that she was barely.
Like to get out of here then?
Yeah. Give us your plugs.
Shake them ropes. I'm taping tomorrow with my improv partner and heterosexual live mate, Brian James O'Connell. Director, writer, did movies with Pedro Pascal and Matt Berry before they blew up. So, wrestling fan from the Carolinas. Going over everything in AEW and WWE this week. Our Vader Club, his selection from Beyond Wrestling. RD Evans versus Orange Cassidy. A first doing Beyond Wrestling on Vader Club. So I'm sure that's full of unrepentant stupidity, and I'm here for it because I love RD Evans. And follow me at Crap Game 13 on X.
All right. And I am going to be doing the Fight Game podcast with Garrett tomorrow. I'm filling in for John. So that'll be on the F4W network. We're not going live, so we're recording earlier in the day. So I think maybe it'll be up a little bit earlier than it's usually up. So you can check that out either tomorrow night or Friday morning. And then I'll be back again with Garrett on this network with the Takedown next Monday, which we'll talk about whatever went down this weekend. And there's a couple of big shows, the TNA show, and the NXT show. And I suspect we may get some crossover on those 2 shows based on last night.
You think?
Maybe. Although you wouldn't know there was a TNA show based on NXT last night, because I don't think they mentioned it once. I'm pretty sure we're going to see some NXT people on that TNA show. So for Jeff Hawkins, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Dynamite Show. Say my